Hey, you guys. Okay, we're going to continue with Greek Myths, Volume 2. This one is called Theseus and the Minotaur. There was once a famous king named Minos who ruled the beautiful island of Crete in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. Minos was a rich and powerful king, for he had lots of gold in his treasure chests and more than enough ships and soldiers to make the kings of nearby lands obey him. He had loyal subjects and a wife and daughter who loved him. And yet King Minos was far from happy. Every day, his expression grew grimmer and his frown grew deeper. His people began to see that their king must have some terrible secret. One day, the king summoned his advisors and told them that he was going to build a new palace. It was to be quite unlike any other palace, and he needed a very clever craftsman to build it. Could his advisors tell him the name of the cleverest craftsman in the world? Daedalus of Athens is the man you want, said the king's chief minister without hesitation. He is the greatest craftsman of all. He can make statues that talk and machines that move by themselves. He will do anything you ask. So Daedalus built the king the strangest palace. It had no windows, at least none that anyone could see. People said it looked more like a prison than a palace. They were even more puzzled when the king commanded Daedalus to surround it with a wall with many twists and turns. Not enough, said Minos when he saw it. I want more walls, crooked walls with many corners, and I want them higher. Then Daedalus ringed the building with row upon row of high walls. The dark passages between them formed a gigantic maze. He won't get out of that, the king muttered to himself, and snoopers going in will never find their way out. So who or what was the king hiding in the maze? He was hiding a horrible creature that had been forced upon him by the sea god Poseidon, who thought that Minos and his queen had insulted him. In revenge, the hot-tempered god had caused the queen to give birth to a monster with the body of a man and the head of a bull. It was called the Minotaur, and Minos had to accept it as his son. Everything might have gone well if the Minotaur had been a friendly beast, but even in its cradle, it was dangerous, biting fingers off the hands that fed it. The king did not want anyone to know of its existence, but as it grew older, it got more uncontrollable until he was forced to imprison it in the maze. But the secret could not be kept for long. The Minotaur began demanding human flesh to eat. Minos then declared that all the cities he had conquered must send them quotas of healthy young people to feed to the Minotaur. The city of Athens was ordered to pay 7 youths and 7 maidens once every 9 years. Agis, king of Athens, was dreading the day when his city had to pay this price, but he was not powerful enough to withstand King Minos. Athens was filled with weeping as the names of the young people were announced, and the black-sailed boat that would take them to Crete was prepared. Then the king's son, Prince Theseus, demanded to go as one of them. He did not fear the Minotaur, he said. He would fight it and kill it. At first, Agis refused to let his son risk his life, but in the end, he agreed. I shall pray each day for your safety and watch for your boat from the cliff top, he said. If you are victorious, order the black sail to be lowered and put up a white one. Then I shall know from afar that you are safe. Theseus promised that he would. The young Athenians trembled as their boat reached Crete, but they clung to the hope that Theseus might save them. He looked so strong, handsome, and determined. Minos' daughter, Ariadne, thought so too. She fell in love with him the moment she saw him leading the Athenians to the palace. Even Minos was impressed by the prince's noble air and offered to spare him, but Theseus refused haughtily. I want to be the first to be offered to the beast, he said. Very well, replied Minos. At dawn tomorrow, you shall enter the maze. That night, Princess Ariadne tiptoed to Theseus's room and waked him gently. I want to save you, she whispered. You need help, for however strong and brave you are, you cannot kill a monster sent by the gods. But if I help you, you must promise to take me with you to Athens to be your wife, for my father will kill me when he knows what I have done. Theseus promised faithfully he would marry her. Then Ariadne told him she had sought the help of Daedalus, the maze builder. He had given her a sword of his own making and a ball of golden thread. The sword was the only weapon in the world that could wound the Minotaur, and the thread would guide Theseus through the maze and out again. Theseus took the sword and let Ariadne guide him to the entrance of the maze. Here she tied the loose end of the thread to the doorframe and tossed the ball into the maze. It began to unroll and trundle along the passages. Theseus followed the glimmering thread as it unwound, always a little ahead of him. Without it, he would never have known which of the branching passageways to take. The thread was almost all unwound when he began to hear a steady pounding somewhere just ahead. The Minotaur was pacing round and round in some open space quite close to him. The thread disappeared round a corner, and going after it, Theseus stepped into a dim courtyard and was face to face with the Minotaur. The great horned monster blinked at him for a moment and then charged. Theseus darted aside and thrust the sword with all his strength into its belly. The blow sent the monster staggering backwards, but he grabbed Theseus as he fell, and the two went down together. Theseus found the soft skin underneath its throat and drove the sword in deep. The monster groaned and died. Shaken but triumphant, Theseus rewound the thread, carefully retracing his footsteps until it brought him back to Ariadne waiting at the gate. She guided all the young Athenians through the sleeping city and down to the harbor, and then set sail with them. During the voyage, they took shelter for the night upon the island of Naxos. The next day, when Ariadne awoke, she found herself alone on the island. Theseus had sailed away without her. Ariadne shed floods of desperate tears. She did not know that Theseus was not to blame. The goddess Athena had come to him in the night and told him he must abandon Ariadne. She was destined to be the bride of a great god who was coming soon to claim her. Sure enough, while Ariadne was still weeping, the wine god Dionysus appeared from the sky and carried her off in his chariot to be his wife. Theseus sailed on, but his sorrow at the loss of Ariadne made him forget to change the sail as he had promised. When his father saw the black sail returning, he threw himself from the cliff top in his grief. So Theseus became the king of Athens, which he ruled long and well. And I'll share the pictures with you. Okay, here they are. These are the Athenians, and this would be Theseus. They're getting ready to go, and here is Theseus facing the Minotaur in the maze. And here is the very sad ending where Theseus's father doesn't see that it sees the black sail and jumps from the cliff, killing himself. Okay, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed my Minotaur in the background there, and I'll make more stories for you later. Okay, see you guys later. Bye-bye.